Russia has executed one of the most extensive and devastating aerial offensives since the beginning of the conflict by launching a massive overnight assault targeting 29 separate locations across Ukraine. The coordinated attack involves a staggering combination of missiles and drones that overwhelm defenses in several regions and plunge millions of citizens into darkness. Just as the severe winter conditions began to settle in, military officials in Kyiv reported that Russian forces fired over 700 projectiles at critical infrastructure, including energy facilities, water systems, and heating plants in major cities such as Lviv, Odessa, Kharkiv, and the capital itself. Although Ukrainian air defense teams worked tirelessly to intercept incoming threats and successfully shut down 585 drones and 30 missiles, the sheer volume of the bombardment caused widespread destruction. The strike temporarily cut off external power to the Zaporizhia nuclear plant and inflicted severe damage on a train station in Fastiv, where emergency crews rushed to rescue injured civilians. This escalation signals a renewed effort by Moscow to cripple the Ukrainian industrial base and break public morale through relentless long-range strikes that have left the energy grid in a fragile state. The situation on the ground in eastern Ukraine has become increasingly critical as Russian forces tighten their grip on key strategic areas and push forward with a strategy of internal erosion that has fractured defensive lines. A large group of Ukrainian soldiers remain surrounded in the city of Mirnograd, where supply lines have been severed by constant artillery fire and electronic warfare jamming. Reports from the front line indicate that Ukrainian attempts to deliver ammunition and food to the trapped troops using unmanned aerial vehicles and transport robots have repeatedly failed due to the dense interceptions grid established by Russian units. While the government in Kyiv has not officially acknowledged the full extent of the encirclement to maintain operational security, Russian assault groups have accelerated their advances with heavy missile support and are slowly occupying the southern sectors of the city. In the air above the battlefield, the Russian Air Force released rare cockpit video footage recorded by a pilot of a Su-35 fighter jet showing the aircraft locked onto and destroying 4 Ukrainian reconnaissance drones during a single combat mission. This display of air superiority has complicated Ukrainian efforts to monitor the battlefield and coordinate counterattacks against the encroaching armored columns. Concerns regarding nuclear safety have reached a new peak after international inspectors revealed that the protective infrastructure at the Chornobyl nuclear plant has been compromised by the ongoing warfare. The International Atomic Energy Agency reported that the massive steel confinement structure, which was built to contain radioactive material from the 1986 disaster, suffered significant damage from a drone strikes that occurred earlier in the year. The impact has degraded the ability of the shield to perform its primary safety function, and major renovations are now required to prevent any potential radioactive leaks from the destroyed reactor beneath it. This alarming development coincides with the instability at the Zaporizhia plant and highlights the extreme risk posed by deep strike warfare near atomic facilities. In a separate incident highlighting the dangers of high-intensity air operations, a powerful explosion rocked the Russian city of Belgorod after a suspected Russian aerial bomb accidentally struck an electrical substation. The blast injured a local resident and cut power to several districts, adding to a growing list of over 100 similar friendly fire incidents this year involving misguided glide munitions dropped by low-flying jets. In response to the relentless bombardment of its cities and energy grid, Ukraine has demonstrated its continued capacity for long-range retaliation by successfully striking the Ryazan oil refinery deep within Russian territory. This counterattack is part of a broader strategy to disrupt the fuel logistics that support the Russian war machine, even as Ukraine forces struggled to hold the line in the Donbas region. The strike on Rajan caused a significant fire and forced a temporary halt to operations at the facility, proving that despite the overwhelming pressure on the front line, Kyiv retains the ability to inflict economic pain on Moscow. These cross-border exchanges are occurring against a backdrop of stalled diplomatic efforts, as peace talks held in Florida have failed to produce any tangible breakthroughs. Negotiators in the United States have found progress blocked by fundamental disagreement over territorial control and security guarantees, with the process hinging entirely on whether Russia will commit to a long-term peace framework that respects Ukrainian sovereignty. The lack of diplomatic success has left the conflict to be decided on the battlefield, where the intensity of violence continues to escalate every hour. The geopolitical dimensions of the war have expanded further as Russia and China demonstrate a deepening military partnership that challenges Western dominance across Eurasia. Two nations recently conducted large-scale joint air defense drills inside Russia that showcase a level of strategic coordination and missile interception readiness that has alarmed observers in Washington and Brussels. These exercises are seen as a clear signals that Moscow and Beijing are building a unified security shield designed to counter American influence and insulate their regions from external pressure. Chinese officials maintain that the training was not linked to current international tensions, but the sophisticated joint command structure displayed during the drills suggests otherwise. This solidified alliance creates a formidable bloc that complicates the strategic calculation for the North Atlantic Treaty Organization as it monitors the collapsing defense line in Ukraine and the growing confidence of anti-Western powers. The alignment of Russian and Chinese military capabilities indicates that the future of global security is increasingly being shaped by decisions made in the East rather than in Western capitals. Tensions have also reached a boiling point in the Asia-Pacific region, where aggressive military maneuvers are straining relations between major powers and local populations. The Japanese government launched a formal protest after Chinese fighter jets directed fire control radar at Japanese military aircraft near the Okinawa island, an act that Prime Minister Tane Takachi described as extremely regrettable and dangerous. This hostile gesture, which often precedes an attack, forced the Japanese pilots to take evasive action and has triggered a diplomatic standoff between Tokyo and Beijing. Simultaneously, domestic unrest has erupted in Okinawa as hundreds of residents march outside the American military base at Camp Schwab to protest the construction of new facilities. Demonstrators expressed anger over the heavy burden of hosting foreign troops and cited fears that their islands are being turned into a potential battlefield for a future war. The combinations of international military friction and local resentment highlights the fragility of peace in the Pacific as the administration of President Donald Trump attempts to navigate these complex alliances while the global security orders face unprecedented challenges. If you have made it this far, congratulations, you have unlocked the truth. I want to ask you a quick question though. With Russia launching unprecedented attack on Ukraine's energy infrastructure and China solidifying a military shield across Eurasia, it appears the balance of global power is shifting dangerously away from the West. Given that critical peace talks in Florida are stalling and nuclear sites like Chornobyl are degrading under constant drone fire, the situation looks increasingly dire. Do you believe the current Western strategy of arming Ukraine is still sustainable? Or is the emergence of a unified Russia-China security bloc making a Ukrainian victory impossible without risking a catastrophic direct intervention by NATO forces? And why? Join the debate. We want to hear your insightful opinion on where this is all heading in our community. Share your thoughts in the comments below. I appreciate your support. Thank you for being a part of this journey. Like the video, share this video with friends and family, hit the notification bell, and most importantly, subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next one.